Gentlemen. So, before you get too wound up, or just warm it up, and then we'll do a whole man warm up, stretching. Good.
That's it, because it'll learn right now.
Right.
Like, we'll learn right yesterday.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Do something about that. There you go. There you go. Excellent. Sorry, I missed instruction. You didn't do, no, they're just warming up a little bit, that's all. Let's go ahead and just do some old man stretching. I love this. Is it me? So let's just start with our heads and roll your head one direction. Other direction. Roll your shoulders forward. Backwards. And swing your arms. Get that blood flow. And when you can, catch an arm and pull. Go back to your swings, and then pull the other side. Oh, that's a nice pop. One more time on each side. So I'm going to get a second pop. Some days I like Rice Krispies. All right, elbows. Other direction. Wrists, roll them inside. Outside. And another way to do it if you want to is you can interlock your fingers and roll your wrist back and forth. All right, let's make our rectangle with our hips. We're going to cup your hips forward, shift over to the left side, cup your hips back, shift over to the right side. Make that pattern about 2 or 3 times. And then go the other direction. Now let's round that out and make an oval. So just take your hips and cup them forward, roll back, cup them forward, and roll back as you're shifting from side to side. And then go the other direction. All right. We're going to do another good exercise on one leg. Rotate, one direction. And the other. And knee. Other direction. And you're ready. Other direction. Switch legs. Strengthen one way. Another. My direction. And other direction. Excellent. I am ready. So, 15 solid minutes, nonstop, lightning stepping, back and forth. You can incorporate hand technique, kicks if you want, wave behavior, any kind of stepping, 1, 1.5, 2. Doesn't matter. All you need to do is just for 15 minutes straight. Back and forth. 2, have dinner. At your own pace. You'll be done at 6:30. Check your stances. Which stance is that?
Try to do it, Darren.
Okay, that's height. What stance is that?
The Chico? 14.
Move a little more, there you go. Move a little more into your feet stand. Don't necessarily sidestep them right away. There's a time and place for everything, but today I want you to get into your feet. Okay. There will be times when you might need to round that curve or round that sharp angle, but tonight we're going to
Feeling the direction going. You work direction down.
We'll get a light warm up, and then 15 minutes of lightning stepping back and forth, nonstop. And you can do whatever you want at your discretion, height changes, strikes, kicks, whatever. But 15 minutes nonstop. You haven't changed height yet, play with that. At least you can feel for it. Oh, you're ready? That one,
Yeah.
that's the video, but I have a
Yeah.
reference a little bit there, but, I'll cover it with the print out.
Yeah.
I've had teachers get these. You can't strike big chambers, big chambers. 10 minutes. Left. You're gonna check your vitals. And your bills. Good. On your upper chamber roll. I don't want to see that pretty face go away. Kevin, on the kick. Yes, sir.
Come on. What are you doing?
You're the youngest one here. You should be running circles around all of us. How many people in here know linears? Okay. You remember the strikes in linears? Boom, boom, boom. Play those. Even this, the first one, right? Punch back this, punch those as you're going through your, through your counters. There. Here, I know why. Stop, keep going. 7 minutes to go. Right up there. Trust me.
Huh? Over the top. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
If you're doing elbows, don't forget you got uppers, sides, and press it, and over the top. You're gonna go into a cross step on your feet instead of feet, cross step.
Well,
What I'd like to do is have a walk on.
in the spirit of 1 year.
Good, then I want you to take your height like that.
Okay.
I want you to practice getting more balance with the lower roots. So that'll give you the opportunity to go right into your edge. There you go, good. Last time. When you do that stance, you're changing X, Y, and Z. If you haven't played with other stances, cross stepping, front back stances, front, horse, play them all. 4 minutes. You're in the home stretch, 4 minutes. Suffer. 15 minutes of one minute stepping in your right heel. That's right. Stances. If you're kicking, don't forget to protect yourself. Kick change, right? High and low. Okay. And you go for
Getting used to it. Using my instant fingers. What is new?
Two minutes, keep going, push.
Do some breathing.
Nice to see you. Good glisten, sweat on everybody. Well, depends on if you're over it up. So you do it for me.
Limoncello.
What's that?
Limoncello.
One minute push, guys. Keep going, Bill. Keep going.
Quiet.
Not quite yet. That's right. Hi. Grab some water. Dylan, what was the other drill you guys did last night that Jason was talking about?
One person would be like that. Using our with that cake.
Okay. Sorry.
We're taking territory. What's that? We're taking territory.
Lightning step, kick, which is a lightning step. Lightning step, that's it. You clear with hands if wish. Lightning step.
Kick.
Don't throw your leg out.
Yeah, every morning.
Yes.
So,
Doesn't mean much different from cocktail.
Where's the hand? Joe,
Huh?
where's the hands?
Not gonna be.
you never know, trust. That could be a mistake.
Always a mistake. All I make are
I
mistakes.
knew you were.
Sweet ones.
I could go for a run with a drill.
You're still here. Still here.
I'm thinking.
Whatever you say.
All right. Come on. Numbers work out really well. All right. So, shh. Not you guys, you're fine. Small child. Yeah, you guys are fine. The little one. So yesterday we worked on a bunch of lightning stepping, right? Worked on using our kicks as one of the lines of our lightning stepping and practice not stepping back with our kicks, right? We practice kicking and then using that to complete a shape. So lightning step is basically how you want to move around. And if you close that lightning step, you make a triangle, right? So if at any point during your lightning step, you choose to do a line back on either end, you're going to make a triangle. That's a triangle is equivalent to a finish, right? So one triangle, generally speaking, you should be able to finish one hole. So when entry, application, finish, we're talking what we're giving them as a target, right? So that we know where they want to go, right? We're working our stepping to get close, and then finishes when we cut their center line. Just as a little base concept back in there, we talked about the psychology of scoring versus doing C-lock, right? We're here to do C-lock. We're not here to earn insignificant points that don't mean anything, right? So this, put this down. This happens when we're both thinking about scoring points. Neither of us thinking about doing C-lock right now, right? If we're here and we're thinking about doing C-lock, we both start actually doing what we want to do. Big important thing. It's very easy to get into the point gathering mindset We don't want to build that habit in our school. And then we went over the 3 different chambers for a front kick, a round kick, and a side kick. I want to review those again. So when we do our front kick, getting hip actuation happening means that we need that motion to occur during our kick, right? So if you look, we're up here. We need this to happen when we do our front kick. So it's not like there's a, basically you don't want it to be like there's an axle here, right? And your leg's just snapping off of that axle. There's no power in that. What you want is from here to engage the hip on your kick, right? So if you can do this, right, then you can throw a front kick. It's the same motion. Now you do that from the ground, right, so that you're not just floating up here. Excuse me. It comes up and out and back. Right? Remember, you're trying to kick yourself, trying to compress your leg when you're in that chamber. If you're here, this is a different chamber. You want to compress, explode, compress. Okay, so that's on the front kick. Quick note, for safety's sake for everybody, just get in the habit of guarding with a closed fist. We do use open hand frequently in Indian-Bop for our techniques, but a lot of people get their fingers jammed lately. So until we have some time to really work on how and why we do that, I want you guys to close that fist so that people aren't walking around all gacked out. That should cover everything for front kick. Round kick. You need to look at that base foot. You're going to end up at about a 45-degree angle on your post leg, right? Your post leg is the one that's holding your weight. So when I come up here, right, this is identical. There's 2 methods to get here. If I'm doing Maduro knees, I'm going to turn my toe first. Chamber, round kick. Okay. If I'm doing it central style, I'll stay here and I will pivot while I kick. Okay. Does that make sense? Everybody understand the timing difference on those? One, your toe turns first. Right, one, your toe turns last. Big thing, yes? I'm pivoting on my toe. Okay. You could pivot from your heel if that's comfortable for you, and you can keep your knee bent while you do it. I recommend pivoting from your toe for now. The thing about this is from here, right? We are turning our leg over and compressing, right? This compression is what gives us power on that kick. It actually creates the force in that kick along with your hip turning over, right? So if you do, the other things, if you do this, this will get caught or broken every time. Right? So remember that in sparring where you see catches, what you're really seeing is breaks. Right? So if Paul throws a dumb kick, right, and I'm catching this kick, right, we're showing this. In reality, it's this. So he still falls, but he also doesn't have use of that leg anymore. Right? Because don't let him just stand up and keep attacking you. That'd be dumb. So when you do this, you're up, you're chambered back in tight, snap out and back. Yep. So you want to snap back, squeezing that leg tight as you can, right? That's super important for that kick. And we went over side kick. This is Maduro knees, or excuse me, central pivot on this side kick. And there's 1 of 2 side kicks that we do, right? Everybody's already been exposed to this side kick, right? You still have to turn your hip over and get it involved to do that side kick correctly. Okay, that's with the blade of the foot. What we're talking about right now is using our heel, and it's this big kind of shotgun kick. So when we do this, our toe is going to end up somewhere between 90 and maybe even a little bit beyond that, right? I'm going to turn over like I'm going to do a back kick. Difference is with back kick, I am fully turned over. Side kick, I'm still siding, right? This is your side kick position. Obviously not hand back behind you. I'm doing that to be lazy. So if you're throwing this kick, what this is going to look like is either you're doing it Maduro or central, up to you. But that kick is actually going to fire like that. Your hip turning over is what creates the power for all of these kicks. It's the same way as when you punch, you rotate that hand, right, to get that power. Same thing here. And if you take these same rotations and apply them to your strikes, right, if I'm doing a strike right in front of me, I needed this, right, for my front kick. It means I need that for my front punch. If I'm doing something that's coming from a 45-degree angle, right, I need to turn my hip over like I'm striking on a 45-degree angle, just like if I did this round kick. Right? If I'm shooting off to the side, right, I'm gonna need to turn that hip way over to generate that power. Okay, so it generates the same way, top and bottom. So I said yesterday, when we strike people through the pad, we want them to feel it like they don't have the pad on, right? Which is why a lot of the time we don't train with the pad on. Right? Get used to taking hard hits without it. Then you put it on and you don't have a false sense of security with it. Also, for the most part, people aren't hitting hard enough that you feel it through the pad from what we have seen from videos from current competitions. So it's great, you don't even feel it. It means your matches are lighter than your practice. So that pretty much reviews what we went over yesterday. Does anybody have any questions on that? Did anybody get to practice it? Great, what'd you do?
Just did the side wheels like going up at U-step and
Great,
lighting step, and then also like kick chambers. So just kind of
perfect. Just working on
yeah,
or some of those drills.
yeah.
Spend some time because you're like plugging and out stepping. Did that drill. Yeah.
Good. Good. Did I see you nodding? Or no?
Yeah, it was the same one.
Solid.
For balance thing.
What?
Talking about our table homework.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you got over. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing is, actually, Anna and I were talking about this earlier. As you guys have specific competitions you're training for, it will change the pace of your training, right? You're going to end up cranking it up really hard. In all your training, you have to rehab as hard as you train. So if you want to function as an athlete, right, which is the top 10% of your ability, you need to take care of the bottom 90%. If you're not taking care of this, you won't ever get up into that top 10% range. So the biggest on this triangle, right, is sleep. That's where all your fixes happen, right? All your repairs happen. The next biggest chunk is nutrition, right? The next biggest chunk is fitness, right? And then the top chunk is skill, right? This top chunk is where the athlete lives, but you gotta have all this other stuff taken care of, right? And inside fitness, we're talking about duty fitness, right? So that's flexibility on top of cardio on top. Any questions on that stuff? Sweet. Any questions in general? Cool. So you guys have been drilling lightning stepping. Keep drilling lightning stepping a lot, but I want to go ahead and work a drill from our U-step, right? So that we're not just stuck in one stepping pattern. You have a couple of patterns. We're going to go over 2 stepping methods, right? So you got your patterns and your methods. And then we're going to just let you guys beat on each other and actually try some of these out, right? And you can start light, you can do it heavy, doesn't matter. Last portion of class, we're going to break out and we're going to have everybody working on forms, right? So that everybody's still practicing good C-LUT, because where does all of this information live? Yours. Cool. All right. So the U-step is down on the ground over there, right? It's just like a very, very boxy U. Easy one to start with is anytime your feet are apart, right? And this will be the base of that U in this case. You can do high-low blocks from here, right? You can have your weight to one side or the other. Doesn't matter, right? You could be weight forward, you could be down low, you could be up high. It's all the same thing because it's on this flat line. Right? So the base of a U step is an L step, right? Sure. So that L step just comes to the side, shoots forward. Drill we're going to work, Anna should be super familiar with this one. Give me the punch, punch. Familiar with your guide? All right, and then we're going to pop back. Okay? And right now we're just going to work high-low, right? Because these are postures we can use. So we're going to go high, low, V, punch, punch. Return high, low, V, punch. Good. Quick note on your retractions. I'm seeing a lot of posture retraction starting to happen. This is a block too, right? So strike, retract. This is actually a strike, just so you guys have it for your traditional training. This is if you're fighting somebody who likes to slip punches, right? And Paul slips, I flip and strike on the way back, right? So so what that looks like is that if I punch and Paul steps out of the way or blocks it, and he goes to counter strike, right away you're already pulling this hand in a way that is setting you up for your next one. So just be really cognizant that hand is coming back. You can even open that hand up if you want. And you're gonna start looking like C-Rock while we do this. So, high, low, fate, here's my face, step off line strike, retract strike, retract V, up, pull open, down, fate, or step offline, right? Strike, catch, strike, catch, return. Back to middle, high, low, block, strike, strike, return, high, low, fate, strike, strike, return, high, low. Get the base idea? Sweet, rather than hammering this in like we did the other stuff, right? Excuse me, rather than hammering it in a stationary position, we're going to take that L step and use it to actually move forward, right? It's taking that idea of eating up that territory. Want to make sure we're building that habit. So you're, again, going to get to mix this up. Use whatever stances you want to use whatever stepping methods you want to use. If you know any other than just a standard one-to-one step, feel free. But what you're doing is, from wherever you are, whatever your hands are doing, it's an L step, close it off. L step, close it off. L step, close it off, right? That's how you get that blocking S step, right? So that would be an example of an S step that's not that sliding S, right? That round S. So why don't we go ahead and give that, let's give you 13 minutes to just repeat the heck out of that L step. Try it with different stances, different heights, different shifts. Actually, look, we're gonna make it a little shorter so we've got a little more time tonight. Let's give you 7 minutes. Just so we can get the feel for it, because you'll get to drill it while you hit each other. Yeah, Joe's gonna be over here just drilling it, just a taste.
101.
We can fall.
Yeah. Yeah, just go for it, you're good. Just make sure that whatever hand stuff you're doing follows kaida. So that means if the only thing you know how to do that follows kaida is this, do this. Right? If you can pass and not pass to your femoral, do that, right? Just follow your kaida. To the degree that you're comfortable with. About 2 more minutes on this step. Try and be cognizant of where your eyes are at. Make you look where you're going to block or look where you're going to hit. Definitely look where you're going to step. It's also keeping the cost. That's it. This is a really good way for you to get rehab back into.
I know.
Everything.
I'm like, I lost it.
Okay. Good. Bring it back together. This is gonna be a little concept-based stuff. And it's not really a concept, it's just a way that you should be doing things. So what we're doing with this stuff, right, it seems super, I hope it doesn't come off as patronizing, that we're going through just doing line drills over and over again, stuff like that. It's not. It is actually a vote of confidence that you aren't a bunch of Twitter-ass punks. So, just so you know, good job.
An
Ian.
Indonesian term?
So, that was my censored version. All right, so we're gonna talk about where we are looking, right? The general concept is that we are generally sort of using our peripherals to watch the opponent's hips. It's a good base way to look at it, right? But now let's get a little bit more specific, right? So that when we're practicing, especially when we're practicing without a partner, we're building really good habits, right? And I'm gonna actually use this as an example because it's nice and big and easy to see, right? Like my version of the teacher you all came in university that just used the laser pointer the whole time. So we need to look at what we're blocking, or look at what we're striking, or look where we're going. I know, shocking. Here's a little bit more of a concrete way to look at this, or Alright, so if I look here, I know my cut is complete when I have crossed that line. And then I need to pick another line to go on, right? I've picked a new target because I'm in a bait position, right? I need to deal with that, right? So I'm gonna stay focused on this until I have finished that, and then pick a new one, all right? So that's my big demonstration. It sounds simple. Here's the exercise we're gonna have you do just real quick. Stand in your good sea-lock posture, right? Look somewhere, okay? Now hit that spot. Xander, Anna, Joe, and Izzy got it right. I don't know if you did, because I didn't see if you stepped or not. But I saw good lightning stepping coming out of the three of them. All right, I saw moving offline and hitting that target. Excellent job. Anything we do, add a step to it. Just de facto. Don't practice this anymore. There's no purpose to that, right? Even if you're going to do that, start here and make that a step. So super good job. Okay, go ahead, pick a spot, strike the spot. Great, now pick a new spot. Block that spot. Now finish that person who you had to block. Now pick a new spot. Now move there. Good, okay. So everybody's got the base idea. Same thing goes with kicks, sweeps, passes, the whole nine. It sounds, again, it's not to be patronizing. It's something that everybody needs to work on. One of the things it's very easy to see when people start doing their line drills, right, is so unless the only thing I'm doing is targeting feet that whole time, you probably shouldn't be looking at my feet, right? And I need to make sure wherever I look, I still have at least my peripherals where I can see shoulders and hips, right? That means I can look down to here. If I look anywhere below that, I'm losing visibility, right? From here, I'm good. I can look up to here. Still good. I don't super recommend this unless you're really trying to bait with your throat. That's a risky bait. So just be aware of that while you're practicing. Look, strike or block, pick a new one, deal with it, finish it, pick a new one. If you do those things, it sounds dumb, right, to say it like this, but you will start to move as a sea-lock player, and you'll find out the ways that you're comfortable moving. And it's a lot easier to figure them out while you're doing line drills than while you have somebody trying to kick your teeth down your throat, right? So just a little piece on that. Now, two skills that I see everybody trying to pull in sparring, that there have been some significant difficulties actually pulling, right? There's the two major sweeps that we do. You've got your scissor and you've got your actual, like, you know, whipping tail-y type sweep. I don't remember what it's called. My bad. I'll find out and get you the name of it so you can recognize it. The reason that that's happening is because two things. One is a lack of practicing the actual physical motion of it, and two is a lack of using your footwork, our footwork, to get to a position that makes sense to do. A sweep is no different than a kick. Okay? Get that in your head now. A sweep, a step, and a kick are all the same thing. Okay? They are foot techniques. They are leg techniques. This is the same as this, is the same as this. It drew a line, right? It's my path of travel. So, when you throw a sweep or a scissor, it should be working your geometry, right? Working those patterns. Which means that if I am lined up with Paul, all right, and I want to throw a sweep, none of my footwork says, if I was just stepping, I wouldn't skip step into his chest, right? I personally wouldn't do that. So why would I shoot down in here? It's the same line of travel, right? I need to work my good C line. So if I'm here, I have two options, triangle or square, right? And you break that down to zigzag or L. Okay, if I want to do one of those, then I need to shoot, right? And if I'm going to finish that U step, right? Here's one line, here's another line. Now maybe it makes sense to finish that U step on that line. So you're not just throwing it to throw it. You're trying to achieve geometry, right? Same thing if you use a lightning step to do it. I think the main drill that we usually show people with this, be like, we're here, he attacks, right attack, doesn't really matter, right? We take that first step. I have one line drawn. Here's the important thing. Here's my second line. I have not finished my geometry. So if you want to know where to put the pressure, what finishes your triangle? So I either need to pull him backwards this way, and my body posture won't let me do that. So I need to do a zigzag instead. So what I need to do is that. Now I can do whatever I want, right? So you have to achieve your geometry. You just think about it, right? You gotta achieve your geometry. So a better body posture, right, would have been if I was here. I'm giving him a pretty decent bait with my face, I think, right? But whether he takes it or not doesn't matter, because where I need to shoot is here. He's not there. So what do I need to do? I have two options, right? I can either finish my triangle, or I can finish my zigzag. So from here, I can go really quick to finish that zigzag. Means that I'm abandoning that sweep, right? But it doesn't matter, because I'm still achieving my geometry. I'm still doing my footwork. That's successful footwork. Okay, if I want to finish that triangle and I think I can generate the power, I'm going to blast backwards this way. The only reason that worked is because I drew that line, right? If I tried to kick out his leg, that was never going to work. So if he stands there, right, and I kick, what I see most people do is try and kick the leg, right? That's not going to work. I went here, the base of my triangle is where I started. I need to go there. See the difference? So it's all, foot technique is all Lanka, right? Upper body is all Juru's. That's, don't get that in your head. You've got foot technique, you've got hand technique. I don't want to get the two terms because they're interchangeable terms crossed up. So what we're going to do is work two sweep motions, right, just to get the actual practice in. Let you guys try them out, just playing your geometry on each other. And then we're going to work on two different stepping methods. Okay? Stepping is in upright, not the ground step we were just showing. Standing kick is a stepping method, right? Sweep is a stepping method. However you achieve your geometry is your stepping method. So, two we're going to work on are scissor and sweep, and we're going to start with the sweep. It's only got so many in me. So, from here, first step to achieve this drill like that with me, dragon tail sweep, is getting your hips to drop quickly, right? And you can absolutely come up on your toe if you want to. You're totally okay to do that, okay? But from here, it is this hip motion that gives you the ability to spin. Your hands need to be inside your legs, okay? Do not put your hands over here. You will get kicked in the face. So, from here, drop, and sweep. Because of the nature of the competition you're involved in, you need to do this where you can keep your foot on the ground the entire time. If you let that leg drift up, right? Yes. If Paul and I are fighting each other, and I drop and I spin kick the side of his knee, and it turns his knee out, great. It's not allowed in the competition you're doing. You have to attack the ankle, right? Quick note, this same hip motion, right, for this low sweep, is the same hip turnover you use for a reverse high kick. If you don't twist your hip, you have no power. Same thing when we do our front motions, right? That should tell you that that hip motion is the same as that low sweep. It's all about where your hips are going. So again, from here, you're gonna drop, rotate 360 back to the feet. You're good. Two big tricks on this, other than just practice. You need to spot where you're going. If you're here and then you kick blind, actually your rotation won't even work. You need to drive that head across. Okay? So you're looking here as long as you can, snapping your neck around, beside your target. That's one piece, right? It's just like if you want to jump, crank your neck. Right, so here, just jump straight up. Yep. Okay, crank your neck as hard as you can. Jump straight up. Okay, if your body did a quarter turn, then you were cranking your neck hard enough. If not, crank harder. Do it again. Crank as hard as you can. There we go. That's how you rotate, right? So if you want to jump and spin, crank the crap out of your neck, right? And that's how you'll achieve rotation. Same thing on the ground. You want to spin? Crank the crap out of your neck until you achieve that rotation. The second tip on this is don't break it up into two motions. I'm showing you piece by piece. This is a singular sweep, right? So it's not 1, 2. That's not what you're doing. You need to go from here. You can drop this knee if you need to, depending on the judge, right? So from here, you're going to go from here, and you're going to drop and sweep, one move. Got it? Go for it.
No. I did the rotation, I'm just a bell. Yeah. That's exactly what I just did.
Yeah. Keep it on the ground. Just try to keep your toe on the ground as you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're a wedding lunch.
The rotation's better.
Too much side. I thought my body going really tired. I thought it was fall.
Isn't that sweet?
And what I was saying is that you complete 2 circles, any of these spins, or these slides, or these sweeps. If I, Drew says he's cranking the head first. You know? So if I come down here, if I crank the head around, and I keep coming around, here, this will complete. If I stop turning my head, then I won't be able to complete the sweep.
And that's what you're doing, you're turning your head and stopping, niggling. So that your head stopped at this point, when your leg reaches that point, your head's gonna stop your leg from continuing. You have to continue with your head first.
complete the big circle, I promise. More.
You know,
You see where your head started?
Yeah.
That's where you want to wind up.
so.
So as long as that doesn't keep you from actually moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Good job. The big thing, you're keeping your foot low enough.
Yeah.
So the next thing is to get your butt low or in line with the foot.
I just need to remember, I just need to like,
That's really important.
think, look that way again.
And so that's the one that I don't know, it depends on the judge. Okay, good? Oh, because remember, do we have time to actually train in class?
Yes, sir.
You have time to learn things and then train on our own. Okay, so, pop quiz. What do you think makes the scissor kick work? Scissor swing. The footwork, right, or the geometry is one of the things. Okay, what makes a kick work? The hips moving where they need to move, right? So what do we think maybe makes that scissor work? What works in your hips? The geometry, the lanka, and your hips. Basic, so in wildland fire there's a joke, and it's that fuels, weather, and topography is the answer to 100% of the questions on the tests. There's no question that's not fuel, weather, topography. In SWOT, our version of that would probably be something along the lines of lanka and hips. Lanka, hips, kaya. If you needed a 3 that will pretty much cover everything, what makes this lanka, hips, kaya? You got it. You got it. All right, so breaking this down. We're not going to talk about the entry footwork quite yet. I'm just going to show one way to get into it. Right, so it's 1, 2. Okay, has the kick happened yet?
No.
Okay, so there are 2 ways to roll this kick from here. 1, like this. 2, like this. Both are valid. It depends on the line you're trying to draw. Depends on your lanka. If I am finishing off my triangle, all I need to do is shoot from here, right? If I am continuing the stepping pattern somewhere else, I can come to here. Does that make sense? The hips on this are pretty specific. You shoot, and when you snap, both hips have to shoot away from each other. If your power is coming from here, your sweep will fail 90% of the time. Okay? It's the same thing as doing a front kick like this. Okay, you need to shoot your hip when you do that front kick. Same thing, you need to fire your hip when you do that sweep. Okay. Make sense? Let's see it. Okay. Would you jump straight into somebody's face?
Here.
Uh-huh.
You want to read it right along, triangle there.
Good. Okay, so no, that's okay. A stance that I'm not seeing many people use right now, that's a really good one for this because it helps cover distance, is your cross stance, right? Your simpier or your triplet. So if I'm stepping, I've drawn one part of my line, right? I've drawn one line so far. I need to cover a bunch of distance. Fastest way to do that is with a cross step, right? Because then I'm loaded up already to shoot out. Does that make sense? Good, so give that a shot. So step across, here, and then shoot out. Good, and shoot for your kick.
Okay, so
Good. So, getting down to the ground. One way to do this is with practice. Another way to do it is for me to just tell you, and then you can figure it out for how you want to do it. Okay, two methods. One is don't start from up here. All right? The closer you are to the ground when you come down here, the less distance you have to fall. That being said, maybe you want to start out nice and high. All right, there's plenty of reasons that you might come here to get them dealing with something else so that you disappear when you come low, right? We do that kind of stuff all the time. In this case, I'm going to say for the practice, so you guys don't all leave with bruised hips, we're going to start high on this step, medium on this step, low on this step. If you keep this foot off the ground and this foot off the ground, then when you sweep, you just shoot your hip, right? Just like turning it over. There you go. So your hips are moving like this. Okay, this is the hip motion. If you took the legs out of it.
Be a mermaid.
Exactly. So try to get used to turning your hips like this.
There's a sea of mermaids. Or I guess they're not always. The majority are people mermen.
So from here, roll your hip over and take your legs out. So your hip is just going from here to here, here to here. Okay, and this hip is going from here to here, here. Put them together at the same time. That's what you get.
Or on the left hip line. There you go, you almost hit it.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of feel with this one.
Honestly, this is one of these ones that you just drill it a crap ton and you'll start feeling it. Cool. So we've got a low sweep. We've got a low scissor. Okay. What was the titular part that made those work?
Long hip.
Hips and kind of.
Long hips and kind of, right? Okay. We're going to focus on the hips piece. What makes your kicks work? Okay. So we've talked about when it's in the air. We've talked about when it's on the ground. What makes your stepping work? Your hips. Okay, so stand up. Okay. Hop over there. We're going to do some lightning stepping. Okay. What type of motion, if I was kicking with this feet, what type of kick?
Large kick.
There's a side kick. It would be the cheat is front, round, side, back. Right? So that's the cheat, is you can look at post leg. How does your hip turn over? So everybody do a round kick with the good chamber. Nice. Missed chamber.
Oh, yeah.
Hit yourself in the butt when you come up there. There it is. There we go. So that feeling, that snap your hip over feeling, when you step, snap your hip over. Okay, now, when we step out, what kind of motion would this be? What motion is my hip doing? Just like our front kick, right? So when you do this, round kick, front kick. Okay, that's what it looks like to have your hips engaged in your stepping. And that's just using dragon stance, dragon stance. We're not talking about doing all the other things that we do, right? We're talking about super simple. But it's to get you the concept, right? How can you check it against yourself? So if you can go step, step, here's the fun thing. If I just lock my hand in proper posture, right? One fist width, covering my center. Was there power in this hand? Absolutely. Okay. Which had more power? First one, right? One was the entirety of my body locked into a strong position. All right, now if you want to add power to that, move it, right? But don't think about pushing it away. What you're thinking about is locking this hand into correct position so it can withstand the force of your hips. Okay? Now when you step, right? What is super easy to think of the same as a front kick with your upper body? Punch, right?
Cross.
Right, so boom. Okay, so if this is popping out here, boom, that fist can come out with actual power. I want you to watch, you can see the difference. Okay? Punch, 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 punch. This one, you will take all day and be fine. This one, maybe not. And it's just that you're getting your hip actuated. So what I want you to do is a line of lightning stepping, focusing this time on just like you were kicking. Just like you were kicking. Get those hips working. Right. Good, Tim. And look where you're going. So if you're blocking somewhere, look where you're going to block. If you're striking it, look where you're going to strike. Where you're striking.
Put it together now, Pete. Yeah.
Ooh, that's the sound I love. Oh.
You're not the only one that makes that sound, let me tell you.
Yep. I'll say this, if you don't practice the heck out of that light will turn back off. You'll forget that you turned it on. So you gotta practice it until it gets stuck on.
I've got a room full of burn on both, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm working on it.
Okay, Anna. Would you start a fight like this?
Yeah, no.
No, right? So the reason that's happening is because you're actually pulling your hip away from where you're trying to go. So instead of thinking pushing this back, think about pushing this forward.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So now, so to fix that really high elbow that you're having an issue with that side elbow. Okay, now drive back in and just let your elbow fly from there. That's what you want your really high elbow to feel like.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know it was coming out like that. It's bigger than.
It's a habit people who have work get into
Yeah.
if they've got further smartphone that pass on. Right? Because you hit and you don't want to knock it out of their face.
Yeah.
So you end up cutting your own power by pulling back. So what you see is a lot of
Yeah.
this instead of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Cool, all right, wherever you're at, you're good there. Okay, now, you've done the round kick and the front kick. Now, while we do our lightning step, that's what you're going to do. So, you just did the hips for it, with hands attached. Now what we're going to do is you're going to round kick, front kick. Right, make sense? Cool, go ahead and drill it. So same hip motion, same lanka. Now we're just doing it up here instead of on the ground. Team USA fights like that in the ring, and YouTube will be happy. Now keep your eyes up. So eyes up doesn't just mean gazing out into nowhere. It means pick what you're gonna hit, blast it.
Watch it in your kicks here. Practice getting them in this range right here.
Nice, yeah. Good retraction on it. Okay.
Yeah, I always like, oh, where's it go?
Yeah, so when you pop that one,
Yeah.
click right away, you can pick where you want to go.
Yeah, I think I need a little better.
Just kick her.
Oh, sorry. Mind me, I'm just sitting here contemplating.
Sure.
Too loud. I'll go up and cheer for you all day. It's gonna be crazy.
Start getting fatter, too.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah.
want you to slow down a little bit. So what's happening is you're kind of like over twisting, it's throwing your step off, and your kick, just the momentum of your upper body leaning is throwing your kick away. That's fine to do is lean your body, but only if you can really commit to pulling this leg tight. Okay, really make sure you're getting that leg tight. So this is less of where it needs to be tight, so this is tight, but when you get up to here, this is what it wants to rip out. Keep it tight for your change. Yes, now you're giving us some power to it. Okay, yeah. Cool, now we're gonna pop over here. Again. Alright. Anybody feeling like this spot on their butt getting tired, or like their hip flexors getting tired? Cool. Anybody's obliques getting tired yet? Yeah, it's all tired. Okay, so
It just hurts from here, but the rest of it. Yeah.
a little bit of motion work, right? So this is a stepping method now, right? So we've got our Lanka, now we're going into our stepping method. So the first one, I'm going to show you two. We're going to start with one, okay? One of them is a skip step, right? There are two versions of that, right? There's step push, right? Or there's step drag. So you can do a zigzag, right? Going, and it's still a zigzag pattern, correct? All right, or you can do a zigzag going, it's still a zigzag pattern, right? So that's a stepping method. The one we're going to focus on to start with, though, is at one of our skip steps, right? What's called an onset. What we're going to be focusing on is ombak, right, or wave, right? So that has more to do with your stances than it does, than it does with your feet. So when we move, but that height change is going to be super important. It's going to help set you up for a lot of these sweeps. So we're still looking at, we've done standing, right? We've done stepping, right? Versions of that hip motion. Now we're going to get into the ground version of that stepping motion, right? Or that hip motion. The way we're going to set that up is step, right? We're not going to do a front kick on the ground right now. You can, it's gaja, right? And that's when you see people do this, right? That's a front kick on the ground, and that hip is actuating out into it. What we're going to do on the ground is obviously the one where we're turning sideways, right? So this is what we're going to do on the ground. I'm going to give you a note. Guru Daniel will tell you to almost always practice sweeping with the back of your leg because it's less dangerous. If you sweep with the front and you go shin to shin with somebody and their shin is harder, right? You can break your shin. Absolutely can happen. I want you to be able to do both so that you can choose which one you want to do. Okay? But don't go, just because you can do the motion right now, don't think that means your shin's conditioned to do the motion full speed on somebody yet. This is motion practice. So from here, right, drop back, low, forward, your hip turns over to go to this beat, right? Sweep. Right away, you're up, kick, right, because there's your front kick motion. Back, down, sweep. Forward, up. Make sense? It just goes tiger, drop, sweep. That's the complicated part. The stand-up, note on that stand-up so you don't give yourself sciatic pain, is from here, squeeze your glutes, right? Don't try and stand up and use your ankle to lift you. Okay, from here, when you stand, push through your heel, squeeze your glutes, so you come all the way up into that chamber right away. Cool? Go. Sorry. No. Good. I can make that happen. Yeah, Suzanne, that sound, look at your weight shift is off. So this would be totally silent. So when you come from back here, when you come forward, that sound is because you had to jump to get over this part of your leg. So the trick is come forward, drive your, start the hip drive back here. So when you kick, it's like that. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's it, dude. That's it. That has power. Nice. Don't forget to thrust your hip on that front kick.
You can do both, yeah, because you have that front in there, and then this, you can have Oh my God.
I would not start back close to the wall. Because you're at that like skating part. I know. Skating part here.
I was just
You
saying.
just left it there.
You just-
Thought it
you
was
just stand
awesome. Throw a picture. Oh, it's so good. I sent it to myself. It was great.
My handwriting is.
Mine too. Mine too.
I want to.
Kevin.
Yeah.
When you drop down,
Yeah.
don't catch with your hand. You can catch like a side fall, or if you're comfortable sliding forward, you can catch on your elbow. Don't catch with your wrist. When I was in kids classes, years ago, like 5 years ago, a girl broke her wrist doing that. So don't.
Like I do.
You know.
Okay. Dude, I'm gonna get right to bio.
I really
right
think
now.
it's
Be like,
not.
throw one of those.
That's what I draw.
This is so much nicer.
Well, now that I've done it, I won't get it.
Yeah, so we use that in final mat. And anytime you did, yeah, actually Paul was there when we still had the final mat. Anytime you did footwork drills, you left with blisters on the top of your feet. If you didn't have it, there are times before that. Oh, yeah, we had the canvas mat. Yeah. No, seriously, like, people, right when we got rid of it, people would walk in, they'd see, I would look like a murder, and they would just be like, oh, nope.
No, that's just hardcore, ain't just that.
They're like, I thought this was a restaurant.
Why do you think that's a blood everywhere?
Blood transfusion right away.
Portals.
A lot of us use these spaces. All right, why don't you guys take a break, get some water, stretch out a little bit. We'll cover the second method, using, U-step, and then we're gonna let you guys see each other if you want.
Yours in there.
And I looked at my buddy, I was like,
Oh.
Is it still raining this morning?
but just the whole ambiance was like, yeah.
I don't think so, anyway.
Yeah, right.
Shoot forward.
That was one of those two reunions where just kind of.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be nice, because it'll smell like fresh rain, and nice and cool.
And that's flavor.
There's a hint of spring in the air.
I know, I sent Daniel a picture of flowers that are growing up in his front yard. I was like, look, spring is happening while you're in Hawaii.
Yeah, right.
It's not
Yeah, right. I'm sure it's like, oh, yeah, it's this one.
Is he like, look at all the flowers I have here in Hawaii. Yeah.
In February, I was in Dylan, California, which is south of the Salton Sea, Southern California, desert. It was in the 70s and 80s, and when I drove back to the airport, windstorm, sandstorm, across the highway.
Dust devils.
No, worse than that, it was like a snowstorm, I could only see like 4 or 5 car lengths in front of me.
Oh, damn.
Get to the airport, fly to Denver, freaking snowstorm.
Oh,
That's the right-
for a month.
Oh my God, so in 2 hours, I went from sandstorm to snowstorm.
Oh, no.
It was awful. And it took me 3 hours to go.
Guess what's having a worse day than you? The pilot. Visibility 0. IFR flight rule.
I would not want that job. At
They
all.
say on the big jets, it's almost like autopilot. They say on the big jets, it's all pretty much autopilot. You just got a taxi and, taxi. But besides, someone else.
As long as
You killed the stick.
Don't break my staff, damn it. Break his staff, I dare you.
If you're doing break it over, Jason.
If you're gonna bring
Okay,
that
that's fine.
You'd be like Brandon for the, what was that, black belt, actually still in Mason with the Shinai. So for my,
That was fun.
well, that was,
I missed that.
yeah, that was what, for me, that would have been my first black belt, right? When it was, yeah, I think it was second degree black belt. You had to run a gauntlet, right? So all the other black belts got to choose, well, for second degree, they got to choose any weapons they wanted. And the belt was on the other side of the school. And they were all between you and the belt. And you had to get through them. So when the first time I went through, I picked Brandon because he had a wood sword instead of the real swords. I was like,
Yeah.
wait. And so he swung it, and I was just like, we break files. Bam! And it turns out we break Shinai that way. And then they were like, nope, you gotta redo that. If that had been real, that would have sucked.
Alright, you break metal sword, it's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you get the belt if you break the metal sword. So Mike was in the middle, this from our ninth degree, and he had a whip. And thus everyone was leaving a large berth around him. But the other people had like hard sticks and swords and knives that were sharp. And I was like, I'd take a shot for whip.
No, sir. Oh.
Oh yeah, we used to, Cameron and I used to whip fight in the office constantly.
The office.
It was a lot bigger office.
Well, and so they didn't want to kill whip, so I knew if I charged him, I'd take the one whip shot. Yeah.
Others.
Took a little whip shot, everybody backed up, like, cracked that and said, you know, unfortunately, I got to put the whip in the last.
Don't get yourself a record lady.
I know. No more.
Very bad. Okay, so, skip step. We're gonna use bait, right? So we need to think about what our bait is doing, right? And then we're set up to move from our bait. I keep saying people do this bait, but with their knee down, which means that this hook is stuck to the ground because their knee's pointing at the floor, right? Which means they're not actually gonna be able to get out of the way in time. So do yourself a favor and pick that knee up, okay? Give your bait, and then we're going to step, punch. So it's a skip step here. Skip step, or step side, bait. All right, you're saying hit me here, then you're getting out of the way, then you're coming forward, punch. Okay, to get the idea, you do it right, left, however you want, start on that end of the mat, work your way down. Just get a couple of reps in so you're getting accustomed to the skip step. And then, like I said, we'll let you guys take since we have 3, technically 4 Wasset Jury, 5 Wasset Jury in the house. Perfect.
Please.
What's that? Here's more time off.
First time.
Cool, looks like you guys got the basics of it. We've done skip step before. That's another stepping method, right? So wave is a stepping method. Skip step, you got push drag or drag push, right? Is a stepping method. Sliding your feet is a stepping method, right? Stomping, stepping method. Rolling, stepping method. Pivoting, stepping method. Right? Leap step, stepping method. It's just a straight line. Any questions on that? There's a bunch of them to learn, and there's a lot more Blanca patterns to learn than just the L and the zigzag, but that's a good place to start. Please be quiet. Thanks. It is that easy for your kids when they're here, and I do.
I haven't said a verse.
All right, so let me see. Let me get Morgan real quick. Where she's at. Morgan.
Mario.
Morgan. Bathroom. All right. Well, that's fine.
I got 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
Those of you that are gonna continue to be sparring, how many of you own a mouthpiece? How many have it here with them? Good. How many own a cup? How many don't?
Get a cup. Get a cup.
Right? When you're sparring here, from now on, after the night, you need to have that equipment here.
Optional for you.
Option.
They make female cups.
They do.
I would recommend it.
Once again, it's something you need to learn to move in, okay, and understand what that function is. But also from a safety perspective, it is a requirement of the organization. We need to be in compliance with that, no matter the training and practice. We're going to participate. Okay? So, next time we spar, I want to hear everybody knocking.
All right, gentlemen, notes on getting cups if it's your first time buying a cup. Make sure it fits. You don't want it to get pinched. Make sure you get the aerodynamic kind, not the ones that they use for like football and baseball, right? Make sure it's worth the extra $10, okay? Because otherwise it's going to hinge on the side of your legs and you're not getting through kicks. And thirdly, get the ones that go in compression shorts, because it's just better that way, and it's easier for you to wash it. Also, wash it. Do not come in here with a dirty cup, because that will lead to nicknames that will stick forever and ever. Just so we're clear.
And I'm real good at PowerPoint, we can put all.
Yes, sir.
So if you've got a good set that's under those guidelines, please share that information about what they can get the folks who might be able to do.
Dick's Sporting Goods, the exact place you expect to have cups.
We need to put that on the list for the Vermont guys.
So there's two different like cuts of cup. There's like the one that all has, where it's like a big old, yeah, it's that. Sorry, you guys see that. Didn't have to look at it. Yeah, mine is,
It's our fault for looking.
basically the aerodynamic ones, the plastic cuts in a little bit, so that your hit has room to turn over. Alright, so we've got, who wants to be, Watson for this? What are we doing? Should we turn it over to Owen for Watson?
That doesn't matter. We need at least 3.
Yep.
Okay.
It would be Watson or Drury for the first couple rounds. Before you turn into a pumpkin, let's have you be Watson for like the first 3, and then you can just be Drury for the rest.
I'll try not to chop off her noses, she almost lost it.
He did.
Protest! We're taking my trainer.
Drury, is that okay?
Actually, what is the score?
Yeah. Why not? Might as well get the practice for our guys, right? And then
Extra old ones.
you two also will just trade out. So if you're not in the ring, you should be doing Watson Jury. So why don't we have you jump in as jury to start? So you're on the jury panel now. So good thing for all of us athletes, right? And some of us are cross-trained to do both, which is super important. We actually have a full Wasatch jury court in our school, right? The whole enough to run the whole thing. Super important. That means that you're going to get the actual experience of having people score you, having them do all that stuff. Your job as athletes is to ignore the score completely. Listen to whatever the ref says perfectly. So ignore the jury, lock in on the Wasset, right? And do CLOT, okay? Do CLOT. Who wants to go first? I'm not, because I don't want anyone to sit today. So, and you're not allowed to, so Joe and I'll be the crowd. Oh, actually, Joe, you can be the, chairman. I have to have chairman.
Most important guy there. Not like Shirley, that's why you're cheering. Seriously, you're the most important guy there, and you sit.
Yep.
You don't even have to stand, like, you don't stand.
Yep, vice chair. Yeah, basically what the chairman does is if there is a dispute, like a coach throws a dispute,
Yes.
then the chairman decides. Got it. Chairman is the arbitrator of the match. So.
And what order do you have?
Let's go over that one. So we'll go over how to walk in and how to do all these things.
The shifty, just getting point.
Yeah, and don't do that.
Yeah. Even from last year.
Yeah, it's super common, but that is an example of people who are focused on getting points, not on doing C.
See, now that I know.
And don't get me wrong, you can pop, right? Last time you jump, right? Pop, that's fine. A good opposite. We'll stop you, we'll stop the match. Oh, geez. Stuff on it. Okay, let me at least chairs appropriately. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have a
Yeah. You can stay there, you want a chair? It's gonna sit over here. There, take this one. You can fill it up while you're over there.
Kidding.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, Ed's gonna sit on this side, you can sit over here, I'll sit on that side. Are you sitting here or there? Take that with you.
Still continuing, oh, yeah.
This is what it's got all over. Just kidding.
Enter, cup check down. It's all right.
How many we got?
Use the wood side.
We're good, we're good.
Do we have enough sheets?
Everybody has a sheet.
Okay.
So we're gonna practice walking in and everything, huh?
Are we doing the
We
walking?
got, we were, so, let's standardize, left hand for red judgment, right hand for blue.
Right, blue, left, red.
Okay. I can get blue paper if it helps.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Here's your red
Because
flag.
they'll reverse it, and they'll be like, blue, blue.
It's the right to sit over there, there would be a change. But he's not just getting his like, you feel that you're.
Yeah, sit in that chair so you can watch Dilly's.
You're the youngest chairman ever.
It's true. I think it's illegal, and we might have to adjust it.
He's 18, I know he is. I don't know if I saw his passport.
He's a precinct, he was.
Okay, real quick, before we have you guys walk in,
Yes,
gather all the athletes so they can see what the process looks
sir.
like.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please! What's that?
We only go to the same, that chairs is the same as all of these chairs.
Yeah.
There's another.
What's that, wait,
Oh.
Oh.
Oh! You can keep going until he feels rough.
Oh.
Actually, he already knows what this is, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, I was thinking, it's already done in watches.
Okay, AJ, you have to be silent. Shh. Okay, until they're fighting, and then you can be loud. Okay. So what you guys are gonna see right now is what the Washington Jury Corps is gonna do at the beginning, right, of rounds. Right, I don't know exactly when they switch between which people.
What's an injury corps ready for duty? Arma? Turn around. Arma? Positions.
So let's have you two go first. You stay here, you go to that side.
Sit
right?
please.
Yeah,
Sit,
wait.
please.
Wait for the referee to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
busy.
sit please.
Okay, so I'm gonna be playing coach for both of you guys right now. But what's gonna happen, just so you're aware, is the blue fighter or the red fighter, doesn't matter, will get called out. What you're gonna do is walk out. Bow to the chairman. Show the formal opening. So you show your C-lock motion, right? Bow. Return your corner. Yes.
Isn't it bow both sides, just like walk it?
Okay, good to know. So, we bow, bow, do your Ninjian, return to your corner, and wait. And then you'll just follow the reps.
Do we have a timekeeper?
We can.
There's 2 timers in the drawer right there underneath the speaker.
Should I practice wearing the belts then, or?
Up to you.
I was gonna say, we have a blue and a blue belt and a red sash they can throw on too.
Because I want to practice the hits, but I also want to practice like.
You guys can wear it.
I might, just because I feel like I'm like suffocated,
Yeah,
like
like
it's
a
more
more
weird.
over there.
That's better. Do you want the other one?
So, they're 2-minute rounds, correct?
Yes.
Every time you hear her say T, stop, pause. Every time she says Mulai, start it again.
Do we have another timekeeper?
No, because I'm gonna be coaching.
Well, I mean, these two guys are trying to time or get, so it's like anyone who
Chairman will
needs
be
it.
timekeeper.
Okay.
I don't know about time with that.
So I'm gonna do the one timekeeper role of Julie Lady.
No, you don't do that. I.
Oh, do you do that?
Yes, I check if they're ready. You can announce them.
Oh, okay, so you, the timekeeper announces.
Yeah, because I come out and I say, timekeeper ready, I don't care, no, all of that. I think the announcer is the one that just announces to everyone else that I'm conferring that they're ready.
Great.
But I don't think I actually have a mic. Julie Lady. Timekeeper lady.
You might in a large crowd, they said the referee may have a mic.
Oh, that's true. I think sometimes, especially for like higher voice with a woman's voice.
It's really nice if there's a mic.
Yeah,
Usually up there, they're pretty respectful about fighting.
yeah, that's true.
Over here in America, they might be.
We got air horns, all
Yeah.
these games.
Get out of here.
Yeah. This isn't a great spectator sport for yelling.
Come on, Chairman, get back up here.
Come on, Chairman. Gotta be in your chair, Chairman.
You are the man of the chair now.
You leave your chair, the whole match is over.
That's right,
We basically have to stop everything.
You gotta stay there.
We have to have a chairman to run the show.
You're the chairman, so there's the chair, man.
It was very important about saying chairman must compete before these matches, because they're going to be in that chair a long time.
Yeah, everybody has to compete before everything. You don't get to stop.
Welcome to the chair. The chair is your life.
Everyone has to wait and see.
That's why they like the old guys judging, because they all know where to bend.
It's a match.
They were talking about that, and I'm like, let's just wear.
There's only three people that really know about it.
So I think what we'll do just for these couple rounds, is since generally speaking, your coach cannot give you any coaching during the match. It has to be during your 1 minute breaks.
I think we should stick with it.
Yeah.
Because this is their first couple rounds, we'll go ahead and let them get some coaching while they're going. After everybody's done one round, then it'll just be when they hit it.
I'll allow it.
Thank you.
I have so much power.
Thank you, Russ.
It's not good.
Okay,
And you're announcer, do you?
in the red corner, Ethan. Get out of here,
Vampire Night.
Oh, working on the control.
Kevin. Just do some slow motion.
Don't disrespect the game side.
That's one sure way to kick you.
That guy's cool.
In the blue corner, the terror from down under,
Also,
Anna Unana.
also Ethan.
Also Ethan.
Everyone's just Ethan.
There's a period of time where we had like 3 Ethans, and they were all your exact goals.
Yeah, like pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, we had Cindy, Blondie.
Okay, so now, I'll call you out individually. Oh, oh, wait, just into your respective corner. Okay. Welcome to here, let's take our arms out. And I make sure this is all up to code. It's not, it's too small for you, but. Then turn around, and then you'd be like, okay, all of this is good, you're good, all right. And then this, you stick your arms out, I just check if this is to code, if not, it's fine. You all three of them check. I think, right? They still get to have a required cup.
It's not required, it's optional.
Optional. You don't have to do cup checks, so then you spin around. All right, good, you tie well, good, okay, you're set. Whoa. Good, you guys want to do? No, you won't have those. But you can take it off for now. You won't wear it in the match.
When you weigh in, you will not have the sass on you.
Oh, okay.
Won't have any groin guy contestant suit that have no growing guards, no pads, nothing
Just
on, it's your uniform, basically.
Oh, did you see that? Oh, it's good fighting.
Good, so then we'll go from here, outside the pool ring. And then we describe the rules. So, no shots to the head, back of the head, spine, I mean knees.
Inside.
No inside of the knee either. From here to here is okay, no groin shots either. Understand the rules? Good, chairman ready, and you thumbs up. Timekeeper ready. Jury ready.
She's ready.
You're ready. Okay, everybody's ready. Okay, Rosaria. Good. Mulai.
Go stop the footwork. Lightning step. Keep lightning stepping.
Deep. Good. For now, I'm not going to do official opposite. Let's push when we get in there. Don't get tangled up in each other's hands. Cool. See that? So sorry. Watch this finger passage.
Remember, you can do lightning stepping high with your kicks, on the ground with your stepping, or low with your sweeps.
Forgot it all. Yeah. Mulai.
Good, make sure you get those clean break falls. Feel yourself fall and throw yourself to keep yourself safe.
So when they do like this, after you try and do a takedown, it's not clean. Takes too long for the takedown.
Pay attention, so you feel it.
How long do we have to take?
5 seconds.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. First video. Mulai.
Footwork. Close the triangles. Close the triangle.
Watch your step, and then you go for the takedown.
Chairman must be second.
No. Nothing
I
happened.
think one of your was the suspects, but he didn't see the flag.
As far as I can see, if you didn't see it, no problem. If somebody throws the protest, then do it.
Looking good, guys. It's super good.
Did you get the German? Good. First video. Mulai.
Lightning step. Lightning step while you strike. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Stepping methods. There's a lot of different steps out there. Nice. Sweet.
Deep.
And you can kick him in the chest when he does that.
Good work, says T.
Just so you have a couple.
You good. That's good.
Deeper.
Good footwork, Anna. Good footwork. Both looking good.
You want the breaks and.
Don't worry about it. As soon as you're ready, I'm just gonna yell until you tell them to go.
Okay. First video. Mulai.
Don't stop your footwork, just move straight in. Good, keep going, footwork. Occupy land.
Same thing. See, like, you're getting into this weird slapping territory. Presidia. Ulai.
Pasang, pasang, pasang. Good. Footwork, footwork, footwork. Eat up the land, eat up the land.
Six. So when they hold up 6, that just means you ended it because you got 6.
Oh. It's a good thing.
And then it means that these guys know that's why I stopped it. I didn't stop it for any other reason. You got 6? Okay, we're good.
Sit over here.
It's over here, sir. You're in so much trouble.
Hey, use good pasang. Use good pasang. Use good pasang.
Do you want to give them any test scenarios of what deductions will look like?
Nope. Not right now.
Not until they do it?
Not until they do it. Right now.
Presidia. Ulai.
Nice. But you're thinking about it. You're actually trying this. You're trying. That's great. When that happens, you don't put them out of the way. So as you
When you hit 2 minutes, remember, when you hit 2 minutes, just yell it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's time. Usually we have.
Motion, wave your
I can
arms.
wave.
All three of you did something.
You are a bird.
Fine?
Nice job, both of you. Keep it up.
Presidia. Ulai.
Go work. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stand in front of it, man. Don't stand in front of it.
D.
Good work, guys. Nice job. All right. All right, boys. Actually, Paul, I'm gonna have you wait. Xander, you're in the kill.
You want to show them the rest of
Sir, if you
the?
want me to wait for them to get up until we.
Let's do the other matches then.
Let's just go ahead and do the other. Yeah.
Happy birthday, boy.
That's fine. Just give me one.
Thank you.
Okay. Then you got it. Yeah. Okay. Will you tie him up? John, you tie him up. Hey.
That's good. All meals.
What's up, Richard?
Still fell.
Okay.
Can't be, you're right. You can't have smell. All meals, right.
Oh, inconvenience. Yeah, I was like, you're thinking about going
Yeah,
through
they're
this.
silent, yeah.
Because right now, I think it's just panic and they're like, I don't know what else to do but shove you and like kind of slap you.
It could be.
Yeah, I would like to see that. That would be cool. That would be open hands Sir.
Not until they come back. Yeah, you just love. That's why we're first round. And then the next after that is when we just like regular. Or just go to get any coach you want right in here. Seven. No, you did a really good job. When you went for your sweep, that was like what ended up happening is you stepped and then you retraced your own line. So you didn't actually get that ankle cut. Because if you hit step
right.
and cross step and then throw it, then it would have been closing it. On the next one, you were like you were a quarter of an inch off the both of your feet.
Yeah, do it.
That's perfect. That is awesome. Yeah, go on. Do your No, seriously, you guys are doing great. Go. Just keep it up there. Just stepping. So, we're going to on you on. Right, but good posture, really glad she is, right? She's stopping you when you guys start getting in the day. You know that happened, right? It's technically sometimes, depending on who it is, they might let us know, right? But you don't want to get mad. That's not seen, right?
Yeah.
You guys compared to 2 weeks ago when we started, you guys look really good. You feel different?
Yeah, like I feel less on like.
Right.
So I still gotta go back and like, I need strength still.
You're like.
We don't like.
One thing you want to do when you hit those long jumps, make sure that you're getting that hit power. Because there were a couple times where you took a shot that if you hit it, you'd have I don't care about the points. You don't care about the points. Long. Right, just lots of stepping with this dude.
I really want to.
Right, you do. Right. If while you're stepping, you're stepping you're moving your hands, you're doing something. Doesn't matter what, doesn't matter what, you should be doing something. And don't be afraid to toss. From the toss, you set the base, right? You know, toss the ball. If you're in there, you go, boom, all right, that's totally unique. And then you do it, right? That's what we want to see. Understand? See how it goes. Right? So, yeah, to do that, you have to do awesome. Austin and Curry are at the authority.
Are you still gonna be?
I can if you want to switch, so you can do that, so everyone gets the chance.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just gonna get this good. Alright, so athletes, remember, you're gonna wait until after the watching period has come out, or another thing you get called out.
We'll do the one. What's it? Someone's like, what is this? I was like, what? I was like, what's it? Yeah, but what's it here?
You know, Jerry wants to go to the place up there. And I'm sure, so at least we want to go.
We'll probably have a different. I don't know, just feel little.
Let's, we're deadline for a while.
I'm gonna go get a chiropractor.
That's how much money you might get picked up. Oh, is there?
Yeah. He's not glad you jumped in.
Yeah.
And I was gonna see if anyone else would maybe wanna just swap it for the one round. Either way, or I guess I'll, we did it.
There you go.
What's the report morning for duty, sir? Come on. Oh, come on.
That's all right.
This is.
Yeah, actually, we didn't want to hurt you guys, so.
Please sit.
Thank you.
Do it.
You know you want
Ethan, no, in the red corner, Chili Dilly. In the blue corner, Zanny Xanax.
Little sand.
There's no laughing at sea lion.
Professor
Zero fun, sir.
Sit. Stay. Yeah.
Over. Cut. Go.
I don't actually know how this officially happens yet, so I need to watch more videos of the.
Please.
Somebody start fighting.
No contact to the face or anywhere else on the head. Only contact to the chest of the. No contact to the groin.
I'm sorry.
No contact to the other spine and the main spine. Chairman, ready. Timekeeper, ready. Jury, ready.
Ready? I'm ready too.
Carl, ready. What's there? We're up.
Don't stop. Footwork. Good. Footwork.
Team.
Nice. Good Zan, good fall. Good go.
Orders.
Hit that footwork. Don't ever stop your footwork.
That's third.
There you go.
What's there? We're up.
Footwork. You got L steps and you got triangle steps.
Team. Break.
Okay, on T, you break right away. Good job, guys. Good job.
Wrong place takedown. What's there?
I want to see U steps. I want to see lightning steps. Triangles.
Right.
Don't ever stop footwork. Don't stop. Move. Occupy that space. Take the center. Good.
Team.
You're doing good. Both of you doing good.
Out of bounds. Up left. Out of bounds. Up left.
Zan, focus on those big kicks through your footwork.
What's there?
Lanka.
Right.
Sila Lanka. See some U steps in there.
Team. Bounds. Up left.
Take that center, boys.
What's there? Right.
See some U steps. Let's see some punches that mean something.
That's all. Team. No takedown.
Yeah, remember to use the lightning steps, set that up.
What's there? Right.
Stepping. Come on, let's see some punches that can mean something. Keep it up. Correct footwork.
Team. No takedown. What's there? Right.
Footwork. Sweep. Footwork. Go back up.
Team. Corner.
Use corner, yellow.
Face approach.
Face the center.
Must make contact.
Good. When I yell sweep.
Sweep the leg.
Yeah. Right.
Sri-Lanka! Make those punches mean something, not just laugh at each other.
See. 6. Yeah. Right.
Breathe. Come on, make real punches, boys. Cage punches, back fists, chops.
See. 6. No slapping.
Remember, ball meals are valid, guys, but use them right. Okay? This doesn't constitute a ball meal. That constitutes a ball meal.
Sir.
That's the sound we want to hear on chest protectors, just like that, we want to hear that snap. Because some of us, we won't pop points unless we hear that.
Okay.
Jury. Yeah.
Okay. So you're punch through their chest.
Right.
Best way to make them not want to come up in your space is to make it hurt when you hit them.
See.
Okay, so don't focus on points, focus on stepping.
6.
Remember, you hit because you move, you don't move because you hit.
Yeah. Right.
Good, Sri Lanka. L-step, lightning step. Catch those kicks.
See. Okay, done. In. Good. Maria. Right. Right. See.
Okay, who do we got left? We got Paul and Izzy, right? All right. You wish.
Make your stuff there, like you can pick up You done?
Sir.
Okay. So, yeah, we got Paul and Iz. You guys are up next.
Who will be our opposite?
I don't know, maybe we can see if we can steal Jake to be opposite for around. Okay, I think, well, we're down 2 jury at this point. We're down 2 members. So we'll need 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, and then we need 1 more.
I can do jury or also. Either
You
one.
can look at jump in 1 round for opposite jury.
Shake you real hard on something.
Good. What's your guess? Still way better. Way better. Still, you're starting to get into this. Just focusing on it's
Mueller.
Well, it's working more for the amount of points.
Gonna put that on, boss?
Where you can just.
I have to stand up,
Right, so blade is
Yeah, right.
When it presents itself, it's worth 3 times as much. If you think
Like 3,
if you think you can shoot up, it's entry, application, finish, right? Yeah, both of you did a really good job. You got through your throws. You're still throwing your throws too far away. Or your sweeps. The trick is, before you do it, you can cross that. Then you can throw.
I've been trying to make that.
So right now, it's okay if you just make sure you hit that. 'Cause if you hit that, there are twice, 2 of those ones, good drop. So good job. Good one. Looks way better, way more control.
No
way more
way.
Come on, actually.
No way.
and then the
Come on.
You'll beat everybody, that's not fair.
So you go, step in here, cycle, step here, that was great. And you did a really good job of blocking those throws.
Alright.
You did really good, just clean pop, it was good work.
I felt a lot less stressed when I was focusing on my footwork.
Yeah, sure. So very cool.
They haven't pulled on you yet, because they haven't needed to.
There you go.
Usually we wouldn't break this many times, and people would already have the chest protector on. They would come in one after the other.
The station goes off.
Oh, sir.
Yeah, how did you, how you feel after that? reverse.
Actually.
Yeah. Because they expect. Give us some fresh air.
Yeah, we're gonna walk you, sir, we're gonna walk you.
Yeah, I think Jake's gonna help us do either jury, one of the positions.
Yeah.
As well.
We'll have Jake do the Wausau.
We're gonna walk.
Have Jake do the Wausau. Just because it's very, very, we haven't been there to deal with it.
You guys
got
Yeah.
So, we're gonna have plenty of opportunity.
Oh,
There'll be lots of rounds.
So.
Yeah.
So, boys, this is the guys with kickers. You get in there, you already those kicks. Make sure that you chamber that crap. Yeah, so if you're gonna throw that round, snap it, right? Really throw that kick. Yeah. Hit it. So you're not hurting each other, right? So just go from you need to be sure. And when other people come in there playing this game, whoa, but not for the next team. Remember, every time you're doing move, you should be doing something, even if that person's not there. And then just stepping. You're right. All right, athletes ready, move to your positions, just off the edge of the mat. We've got those three for jury, if you want to take Wausau, if you want to take jury, you want to take Wausau. Okay, then, you got our Wausau.
Well, that was easy.
He's like, I'm not a bean counter.
Who's jury?
That's
Jury.
Jury's right there.
Come on. Stop faking it. Come on. Position. Please. Trying to remember how I you guys have to do this.
Equipment first.
Yeah.
Just help me.
I know equipment. I was just barely standing and I was like, wait, I
We'll get there.
Hey, you're actually a trainer. You get any from the extra small.
I thought there was one on the car, but a lot of people with golf carts. I think it says two up.
Keep your mouth guard safe.
This is
What are you guys calling out for your?
This is square.
The big square's out of bounds.
Okay. Target area, no groin, no face, no spine, don't kick directly to the knee. Understand? Good clean fight. Steady up. Relax.
Team.
See you lock up.
Relax.
Don't stop moving your feet, is it? Don't hold still, you make yourself an easy target.
T.
He does that, kick him in the chest, Izzy.
Steady. Move out.
Paul, you're big, but your footwork has to be on point. Just hit it when you do that.
Is it all right, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
T.
There it is, back together. Do that. Yeah. Black.
Eat up that ground, Izzy.
T.
Take that center circle this.
Yeah. Black.
T. Is make that kick count.
Neutral corners. Jury, assemble. Trying to run through all the things that
Is. Stop your footwork once you get closer, and that's when you need to continue. Paul, if you're going for that big throw right off the bat, play with him a little bit, loosen him up. Get a little lighter, and then drop head.
positions. Yeah. Black. You can run through everything that we.
Keep moving, keep moving. Move those feet. Triangle step, L step, triangle step, L step.
T. Yeah. Black.
Just stand in front of him. Yeah, there you go, there you go. T.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Very good. Wish you guys didn't have this much practice in the whole time. This is the black.
Izzy, go for that little sweep. And sweep. Scissor. Scissor. T. Good.
Big corner. Big corner. Go straight to the bell. Clear zero.
Faster.
Grit. No weapon rest. Come on, man. Dia. Mulai. Mr. Diaz.
Free ball.
Right.
Move to the middle, isn't you're gonna get knocked out. Deep. You're like twice as height.
Mr. Diaz. Hot time. Move on.
Nice kick ball. Sweet. Good. Deep.
How many rounds are you guys doing?
It was just one round for each.
Oh, it's just a round. Are you announcing winners?
We're about to do that right now.
Oh, you are.
So for all the 3 rounds, we have 6 people playing.
Okay, your turn. Round, sit down.
If you were a red fighter, come sit in this corner. Sure. Your blue fighter, come sit in the corner. Yeah, so you're a blue fighter, come sit in the corner. Face this way. Turn around. All your fighters all just hanging out at once.
Okay, order your symbol. And I need you to kind of keep it.
First set, second set. You're doing good. Yeah, I think this one's gonna move. Is your hit him? No, you're not.
Use that pointer.
You need it, so we can. Yes, we can. Now that I
So we're really comfortable, right?
once you can get that down, you're gonna start getting. You'll start getting something good.
I was like, well, you don't want to throw
That's
that.
why I'm sorry. So here, nice little.
You can't make it to 2 minutes. You want to do this here?
Oh,
Sir.
you did really good work. You're doing nice.
And they're the same man.
Stepping right up and it came times and bro. All body weight, like you were trying to do sumo. We're not doing sumo, we're doing sumo. What was happening is you're trying to zigzag into the ground. So it's zigzag, so you're trying to, that's work for me. Leads you back to another zigzag. You just keep working the finesse. As soon as you were thinking finesse, you started putting him, moving him around. That's what you want to do for
Sir.
last round, right when you started being light. Kill it. Kill it. And if you go from that level, right on that triangle, right, if that's where you put your big power shot, oh, and then right back to light. It's gonna be hard for anybody to take you.
Sir.
And you're just gonna move them around the mat.
So now you take that back to.
I'm about to train here now.
What's that?
I'm about to train here now.
Positions way harder.
Okay, first 2 fighters. Anna and who is that?
Anna and Ethan, Kevin.
Ethan, come on.
That's gonna be running joke. You're just gonna have to.
Right next.
These are watching.
Okay, so you have to announce blue or red. What?
Blue.
Blue. Blue winner. Next set of fighters. Who's on the right, right? Is that
Correct.
what I said?
Correct.
You were a red fighter, right?
Pitch.
Sorry, you guys don't have your, normally when you announce the winner right after the fight, right? So,
Yes.
okay, so this one's my blue one.
Got it.
Okay.
Red.
Right. Red. Winner. Next fighters. You still have yours, huh? This easy. Barrett, I'm going to McDonald's.
Now we have to go up here. Jury is simple, yeah? Here, right?
Yes, but you go forward.
There's a lot of rules of which directions.
Was it in jury duty complete or not? About this. Or not?
Definitely thought you said peace at first. I was
Peace!
like,
Boom check, boom check.
What's the jury? Deuces.
all right, good job, guys. Kick the gear off, clean the mat up. We're gonna do, some ball until the end of class. And then we can clean up.
Like a few minutes afterwards, we probably should.
But it's good there.
Right, yeah, like once all the adrenaline and like all of the dopamine quits your system, it's like, ow! Oh, dang. Watch out!
Good job, Liz. Good job.
It'll be out here and be closer. So the thing about all of our.
There we go.
Sure, you got one.
There's still a pen on the mat.
It's like all of my texts come from my legs.
It's hard to keep the track of it. I think they get up there, they'll feel bad when I'm watching you guys. It's like,
Right, just that.
The feedback is semi-decent.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a small area. It's
Teeny.
Right.
So there's teeny.
So
That's why we've been doing
more than a half hour on.
so lightning stepping every class.
As once it's.
Is he clean? Right?
Which is obvious.
Hard and slower. Just from. Yes, so you're now seeing exactly what we're seeing, and that's why, so everything's hammering on the first, what I was, right now we're building, like the first hours of the kitchen classes. I love to be stepping girls, sweeping girls. And they straight in, and like a combo, repeat. So like something let's try to work it in somebody right there. So you can actually.
Like, you're really good. That's literally. Okay, good. Right. Just chase the cat around, right?
I think the approach is they'll teach like the drill bits.
Little bed and.
So each finish, basically that night,
So maybe it's focusing on those two.
Some of the,
yeah, we're talking about that. When we're doing this, the drill. Yeah, right.
Stop it.
I think it's around, I know that. Cool, okay, that's good. But yeah, like this stuff we're doing, that's right, yeah, here's that. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So that means that the drills make sense. Right after that. Right. Well, so I like this the idea that we do, you do 15 minutes of skipping, and then you do 15 minutes of L-steps, and then you do 15 minutes, or you do limited motion, and then you do scissor practice, and then you do it with somebody else, trying to make that like.
This whole money,
It's national. First 3 minutes. So if we want people to see it.
that's the whole right.
Think about it, that's
We're trying to do the.
It'd be really easy to switch up my breathing on, if I could breathe first thing.
Yeah.
In the office.
How you're gonna.
And they were doing our application to.
Yep.
When everyone's not here, they go and take down, when you're looking with a partner, they're nice.
And they just let the stuff get flopped.
Yeah, they need to do it, and they do it in here.
No, what I worked with that is 2 days doing almost only stepping drills, and I saw people.
that's really expensive.
At least they got to each other. So now, so if we do the, I want to get in there with you guys. We said, doing the lightning stepping, and then doing it with the partner immediately after. And then do your L stepping, and then do it with the partner immediately.
On Fridays and Thursdays is coaching.
Learning your motion.
Pick so 3 things that you want to see on Sparta. Training those on Thursday, working on it. Everybody should be really good at this. And then plus, if they're not doing it,
Yeah, I feel good setup.
yeah, do it like that. So that it's gonna start getting.
Yeah.
Even.
I couldn't help you. I couldn't help you. So, oh, okay, all right.
Power standpoint. So that's a medium follow direction.
You want to go ahead, but.
And make sure maybe it's.
Good luck. Yeah,
That's what we need to do, so we can sort of.
tomorrow at 2:30. I'll
Okay, thanks.
but, yeah, I mean,
Work on that.
I was like, where's Catherine? She's like, we're leaving.
You're home, start working on it. I like that. Because what's your critical? If I get you to commit, you wait for me to stay.
I know. Yeah. And it was in there, about it.
Yeah.
There's the other thing. Farming puts on here. Go to
That's the thing, is like, after we do our songs,
It's
either tomorrow or.
See, you go real slow here. This is slow. I'm gonna speed it up,
If you got the time.
right? I'm just speeding up the flow. I'm into the flow here.
And remember.
Yeah,
The deadline.
Because then it took a spiral of just like only
This is where you used to see all that.
like it's difficult to do my God, and be like, wow, that's really great acting. Pretty killer.
Yeah.
That is, it was almost the same.
Okay.
But you but they might not see a technique off it. Now you can change your base.
Oh,
no. For your next base, right?
One morning.
That's what it is, trying to guys over spot. That's just their math.
So,
Clean that up right now.
rather than them,
Any drink juice that needs cleaning.
they go there, we come into here.
20,
We're going 50.
19,
What?
18,
Go faster.
17, 16, 15, 14, 13,
Push-ups,
10,
throw up.
11, 10, 9,
Think about this.
8,
Here, we're going,
7,
we came
6,
down